It is a Saturday morning routine the 10-year-old Stephanie Mwaura has stuck to at their home in Dagoretti, Nairobi. From the time she was only 3 years old. But to her, this is not just routine, it is passion.
Music is my inspiration that I like playing very much. Music gives me happiness, it gives me joy. Basically, I like playing the piano or keyboard very much because it makes different sounds that make me happy.
But it is the sound of the beat of independence that she had in a documentary that made her want to achieve one thing: to reach the highest point on Mt.Kenya, where the late Kisio Munyao hoisted the Kenyan flag on the 12th of December 1963 to mark the day Kenya formally attained independence. In 2011, opportunity knocked just when her parents, together with family friends, were planning to hike the highest mountain in Kenya and the second highest in Africa. Her dream was to make it to the highest peak of the mountain, Point Lenana, which is over 16,000 feet above sea level. For those who tried it before, they say it was tough.
I didn't know how she would come back from the mountain, bearing in mind it's so cold. Maybe she would have picked some pneumonia.
This introducing us not only to a 10-year-old who loves music, but a young girl who 48 years after Kenya's independence retells that story in her own way.
I have one sister, she's called Ronnie. My hometown is Kiambu. It was on 24th of August, that's when we climbed. We got there by 4:30 and 4:32, but we got enough time to get to the first camp. We had to pack nicely so that we could go. We had climbed for 3 days so that we could get there. The first point was at Old Moses, and just before Old Moses, we started at the ceremony gate. So we had to walk 9 kilometers from the ceremony gate to Old Moses. That was now the first camp. So when we rested there is when we moved on to Shiptons. Now is where we climbed. We slept at Shiptons. That was now the second camp before climbing the peak. It was very tiring and cold. I was almost even crying because my fingers were they were so freezed that I couldn't even move them.
For me, I felt like really we are torturing this little girl, kept edging her on, and then she got to that point where she said, my toes are frozen, my fingers are frozen, I can't take any other step. She actually dropped on her knees.
I asked him to leave me there so that they can move on. I was so tired, but he wouldn't let me rest. He just told me, just keep on going, keep on going. We are almost there. We had to wake up at 2 so that we could get to the top by sunrise. And we also had to use torches because it was still at night. The sun rose before the sun rose when we were still climbing up. When I met my mother up there waiting for me at the Munyao flag. Yeah, I felt very nice. I felt as if I was a great person. And also as I was holding it, I felt like the independence had started all over again. I was taking a picture by closing my eyes. I felt it as if I was also hugging Munyao because I was hugging it. I was hugging the flag's pole very tight. So we took some photos and then we climbed back down. We have not yet known that if I was the first or the 5th or the 10th or which number I am to climb. but I was told that I am one of the youngest to climb Mount Kenya.
For Stephanie, who was born in 2001, hers is not only a personal achievement, but an encouragement.
If there's a child out there who's dreaming about being a pilot, being a doctor, or being even an engineer, I would tell them that they first have to decide on what they wanted to do. Nobody can think that, no, you're too small, you can't do this, you can't do that. No, you're too big, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's just as you try to do is what you get.
Judy Kosgei, Citizen TV, your story.